Hey guys, welcome back to GuyGaming. Let's build a plot. Now, today we're back, and you can see the little hill that we built in our last episode. But you can see all these materials that I have down in my hotbar. Now that's because around the back of our hill that we did, which I always like to do for all my builds, is whenever I put a hill or something that's in the corner of my plot, I always like to put a little cave or something that goes through it. So your plot becomes a little bit more interactive, because when people think that they can interact with your plot, they tend to come look at it more, and it becomes a more popular plot, I guess you could say. Now, it's very easy. All the materials that I used are right here, and I use basically the cobblestone stairs and cobblestone slabs to build up on the walls and make the little entrances that you see here. I kind of went for like a little snowy cave, or like a cold, bitter underground cave, and what I did is I went through, actually did put down some walls and some fences also that I went down. I just put them in the corners, but I used the quartz slabs, and I used the packed ice and the snow to give it that little effect, and I put the sea lantern in as like a little lighting situation. But yeah, that's just a little quick thing that you can do in every one of your builds that you have that's on the corner. That's actually pretty good. I've seen this done with houses before, where they take a house and they build the outside of it to make it look really fancy. And you can come in and you can actually pretend like you're in the house. But this is a design that I've done for many, many years of just putting a little cave that goes through it, and it just makes your plot that much better. But I think without any more delay, what we should do is we should start building. Because, I mean, if you look at our plot, you come on it and you go, hey, cool, this guy's got a little hill, it's got a cave in it, that's cool. And then you go through and you look and you see like iron taters and you go, oh wow, his actually has houses on it. But I'm not saying we're doing the house just yet. We still need to do a lot of environment and terraforming. But what I am going to do is that we're going to work on the river today that's going to run through here. And the way I like to do river that's in survival mode, but I can't do on this server, is that I like to take a thing of TNT. I like to place it at least one block down in, and then light it with a redstone torch. That wouldn't light it anyways. But yeah, just light it. Yep, I knew it. You can't actually blow up blocks. But what I usually do is I do that, and you just put like a line of them, and they make you a nice little river. But here, I think this is going to be the center of the river. This right here. I want to have it kind of close to the edge of the hill, but then again, I don't want it. I want to have like a little bit of land right there. But I think the river might come along, might come out a little bit. And let's say it comes around and it goes through here. This is the center of the river, by the way. Comes down, comes through here, and there it is. That's the end. So that's pretty much the path that it's going to take. I like to lay out the center of it every time I put down a river. And what I like to do is I like to pick a number of blocks that's going to go on each side. So let's say we want a very small river. We just pick it and we take every block on the outside of it. And you just keep doing this the whole way around. For these corners, it can get kind of tricky to keep track of what's going where. But just remember, it's always one block less than what you did. So let's take those out. And don't be worried if it's not perfect, because again, our hill isn't perfect, but it came out looking pretty dang good. So if we start just chiseling away at this, start taking away some of the dirt blocks, which might take a little bit, and once you get them, you take it, and this is important, you don't want to just leave it like this and just have the water and then spam some water buckets in there. That is bad, and they would look gaudy and just, it won't look good. And I love how it always has like the jagged little parts. And I like to put a pond in there somewhere, but this doesn't look like it'd be the type of river that you want to pond. But the most important part about this is that you definitely want to have some sort of depression in it. Because people are going to be able to see through the water, and you don't want them to just see the stone that's underneath here. Now, if you just keep coming like this, I think I might remove some more blocks as I go. Now, remember, you don't need a depression in every place or like a straight running line, just places that it would look better. That's my depression right there. You take them. What I also love to do with mine is I take stuff like cobblestone andesite, and I will take gravel. And I will put it down just to give it a little bit of like a bedrocky type, just, you know, there. So it looks a bunch better. I mean, you're not going to be able to tell a whole lot from looking down into it, but for what you can tell, you'll say, hey, this guy even took care of the fact that he didn't just leave it all stone. I mean, he actually naturalized it a little bit. I'm not sure what the building world actually does call this, but I always called it naturalization, which is basically just what it sounds like. You naturalize your plot. You make it look like it could have spawned in or would have been in the real world or something like that. Something that just gives it that little bit of kick to it. Now, cobblestone is an excellent bedrock layer thing for like a river. Oh, can't place it like that. And if you look at it, it already looks a little bit good on dry land, and you take it, and I love to fill in the depressions first, which is actually one tip that has gotten me a job over another person in a building thing, and has won me many building contests also, is this little trick right here. You fill all the bottom layer in with water first. And what that does is that it eliminates all the annoying sounds that you hear that are coming off the water. You won't get that running sound, you won't get the water particles. I mean, it's just a whole lot better. Unless you do that. Which, you know, you always do it. I do it in vanilla, I do it any other time, but yeah, once you're done spamming all your buckets, it should level out, and you don't want any running water, really, in your river. That's one thing you don't want. Because if you do have it, it just doesn't come out right. There you go. And it kind of goes a little bit thicker to narrower, which is alright. What you can do is, you see how you have these little areas, is that this can turn into a bog. And what a bog you can do is, also what I like to do with bogs, I like to depress them a little bit. Have little sinkholes, have little places that, you know, if you were an adventurer and you were walking through and you found this place and you were walking, next thing you know, you hit quicksand and you're down in there. But what's also really good for bogs is Podzoil. Podzoil is an amazing block for that. Another one that is really good for it is mycelium, which is B right there. But then again, you want stuff like soul sand, you definitely love the decorations block, like oak leaves. You definitely want lily pads, you want some vines. But what I'm going to do with mine also is that I am going to put in a custom tree. Now, that's usually for dead trees, is acacia wood. I like to use it for dead trees, but for bog trees, I think dark oak wood looks the best. Now, also, what you can do is you can take some materials, which would be like your sugar canes. And I've grown some melons and pumpkins in the bog before. It just didn't all come out looking right. But the guy wanted them in there, so I put them in there. Grass does pretty good. I put those in some of the trees, but I don't think I'm going to be putting a spider tree in. And what you do is you just line your bog with some just dirty, nasty looking blocks. And like the mycelium, I don't think mycelium will spread on here, but just in case, I'll line it with like some stone or something. And soul sand is amazing bog block. Like 90% of what the bog is like soul sand. As you can see, like for all these sinkholes, I'm putting soul sand. I'm breaking it up with some Podzoil just because you don't just want nothing but soul sand that goes through here, because then it looks like the nether. Let's bog this up a little bit. Take some mycelium and just spread it through there every once in a while. The Podzoil, I like to do it as like it's the dirt, it's the mud, it's the nitty gritty. And you could probably depress that. Get lots of little things. Now also with this is that you need to make sure that you take the roots and you make them run the same way. What I like to do for the roots also, if I'm having a bog tree, is I'll run them into the water a little bit. You can see I'll run it up a little bit, run it over, and let's run it back down. Make sure you always run it down. So there's a little bit of bog root. Take them. Because, you know, the bog tree, lots of people, whenever they build them, I've seen them, they build them and they just do straight up. And this is really my brother's specialty right here. But let's actually get, before I work on that, let's get some boggy type. Like, or you also want to do the water around it. That's what I'm trying to say. I was going to say boggy type material around it, but I'm not sure you know what I'm saying. You put down some oak leaves, and you can put in some little vines and stuff in the water, which do, in fact, make it look a lot better, in my opinion. I like to use these for vines also. Let's put that there, put that there, put that there. That's just so my ceiling doesn't spread, but I'm going to incorporate it in. Like, say you take some stuff like that, and you can naturalize it. Let's put that down in there, put that down there. Let's take it up. I won't be able to see that because I like to play in fast mode, but anyone who's playing on fancy mode, they'll be able to see all the logs and stuff that are underneath here. But also the sugarcane, remember sugarcane, it does go above 3. Which 4 is really the highest you want to go, but I love putting it above 3 or having it at like 2 stuff, so it just looks different than what's actually going to be in vanilla Minecraft. Now, what you can also do with a bog is you could just have random patches of water that just appear. Oh, I guess you can't put them there. Just put 3 there. And it's already starting to look boggy. That's going to be my descriptive word of the day. Boggy. Let's make that one 4. Now, the grass, you can basically just go nuts with this. Because, you know. Also, what I've seen people do is they took in those blue witch flowers, I call them. They're just the blue bell flowers. And these ones right here. They take them and they just spread them around, just periodically. Just like put one there, put one there, because I mean these things do show up in a swamp. So, man, it is raining really hard at my house, so if you guys can hear it, I'm sorry. But if not, then don't worry about it. Let's put some vines going down. I'm gonna make some vines coming off of there. Let's put some that go down into the actual bog place. And let's make some coming off of here. Now, what we can do is that you go back into your building block. I'll just take that off of there. And you can find stuff like the spruce wood slabs, or, you know what, let's take dark oak. And the dark oak slab is somewhere right there. Because, I mean, stuff like this, where it hits a corner, I like for the branches underneath, do stuff like that, and for above, you can do stuff like that. But anyways, I think that's all for now. I'll get this tree done, and I guess I'll see you later. Bye! Okay.